Welcome to the M Word podcast. Today I'm talking with Vibhor Kapoor, and I am very excited for this conversation because, as we will hear, your journey is one that went from you were at the corporate big guys for a bit, and now you are doing everything around marketing startup. But I want you to tell your story and just orient us a little bit about your journey in business and marketing.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me here, Jennifer. Super excited to be here. So, my journey really started, I don't know how many decades back. I'm going to date myself when I mention that, but it started as a salesperson. I went to undergrad school and I was really fired up about the opportunity of telling customers the value proposition of what technology could do. So spend a lot of time, would say maybe the first 5 to 8 years, just talking to customers, telling them about the value of technology. And then I had a little bit of a pivot, and I spent a bunch of time at GE, getting groomed through their leadership development program, but in a variety of roles. I would summarize that by saying I built a bunch of digital products and I learned the core of operations. GE was a company and is still a company that was very well regarded for that. And then I had a turning point in my career where I spent a lot of time again continuing to build on digital products and work on marketing and go to market. And that's how I got to AdRoll. That's just where I'm a chief business officer. And my role here is interesting. I run product management and marketing for a company whose product is marketing. And,
Hmm.
and when I look at my background, it's also a lot of digital products and marketing. So how cool is that? A guy who has product and marketing experience works in a company running product and marketing for where their product is marketing. So it's a twister, but that's what I love about where I'm at.
Yeah, so were you a tech guy like early on? Were you on the sort of the more technical side of product development, or were you on the ops sales world?
I would say a little bit of both.
Hmm.
I would say my very early experiences, as I mentioned, were in sales. And GE was an operationally oriented company. There was a lot of philosophies on Six Sigma and building with the concept of globalization. So I built a lot of my business leadership skills there. And I would say for the first 20 years of my career, I was not a marketer. So I don't call myself a career marketer. And I was working on technical products. I was thinking about IT. I was thinking about developers. I was thinking about architects, their problems, and often tinkering in those same technologies myself, hands-on, because I was part of a leadership development program.
Mm.
But there was a turning point where marketing became very interesting for me. This was also the turning point when I went to grad school. I think certainly that had some role to play in it. But marketing has evolved many times, right? But in the last 15 years or so, it has evolved significantly. It has become left brain and right brain activity. It's become very data driven. A lot of this
Hmm.
happened with the digital transformation in marketing. And marketing became this really fascinating function that bears a seat on the decision-making table. And I think that was very inspiring for me. And I decided that I'm going to build a career around marketing. So that turning point where it became digital, it became data-driven while still retaining some of the creative elements and its value in helping drive growth in organizations. So made that really interesting for me to make that pivot to marketing.
That's such a fascinating point, and I've never thought about it that way. And that the with the invention, if you will, of all of the data stuff. I'm
Yeah.
getting really technical here in how I talk about it. Uh,
Yeah.
that for those outside of the typical marketing seats in business, it became relatable. So finance now is like, oh, well, you can model this for me, or sales or product can see the connection between what their target market is asking about and having it influence product probably in a much quicker way than it used to when marketing was really print ads, billboards, and television commercials, all of which you can get generalized, perhaps data on how much traffic drives past the billboard, but that's about the beginning and end of it in terms of your demographics, right? So,
Absolutely. In
eh,
fact,
go
not
ahead, go ahead.
uh, in fact, to build on your thought, there is a lot of conversation today about how marketing is going to evolve in the next wave. And there is
Mm-hmm.
this whole concept of marketing engineers or go-to-market engineers, which is the next wave of evolution of marketing, where you actually bring deep
Mm.
technical skills,
Yeah.
fantastic understanding of human psychology, marketing as a discipline and practice, and you bring it to help solve growth problems. So I actually feel marketing is going to continue to evolve even in the next phase, and it's going to
Hmm.
be using a lot of digital technologies to understand customer intent and to be able to run your campaigns and then measure efficacy, which is such a broad spectrum than what we had about 15 or 20 years back.
Right. It's funny. I found myself writing a blog post recently, and my opening is essentially, I never would have thought of myself as working in technology when I started my agency, right? But now there isn't a day, let alone a client or an engagement, where understanding the tools, the tech stack, the processes, the reporting mechanism, like from everything. It's not an aside. It's the critical underpinning of what we do and how we deliver. So I think you're so right. And I, I not to give away the punchline here, but the products that you are now marketing for marketers, it's a marketing product. How does that relate to all of this? Like what is the unique sort of opportunity here using technology to market?
Yep, absolutely. Happy to talk about that. So, for those of you that do not know AdRoll, what we are is a full funnel multi-channel advertising platform. And if you think about marketing as a funnel, we all understand the concept that you want to drive awareness and engagement at the top of the funnel with people that don't know you. And once they know you, you want to drive them through consideration, purchase, and growth and retention. So we are an advertising platform which helps you do your advertising across each stages of the funnel. Now we also know that the marketing at its core is about taking a message, taking a content, taking a story, and engaging with your audiences across all channels. And the channels we've seen the greatest proliferation ever that we have had in the last 10 years. So we help marketers run digital marketing campaigns across all of their channels. So think about display, native, video, connected TV, social. Those are all the channels that a marketer
Hmm.
has to think about in their mix. And so if you think about us as a full funnel, multi-channel advertising platform, that's at our core what we do for our customers. Now, if I were to just break it down into the basics, we help you identify your audiences, we help you run those campaigns, and of course, you're running the campaigns because you have a certain objective and goal, and we help you measure performance and then go do optimizations to hit your performance objectives, whether it's reaching more audience or driving more conversions, which is more lower funnel activity.
Hmm. Yeah, so I mean, it sounds sophisticated and robust. So the user, your target market for your products are people who understand all of the technical things you just said. You're nodding and smiling for those on the who are just listening to this, and I say that because I think so often, you know, I when I'm working with small business clients and those who they have a basic understanding of marketing. They have a basic understanding of that sales funnel that you just rattled off, which is like every marketer, that's how we think about it.
Right.
Clients are always concerned about, right, that last action, the turn it into revenue. But your product is really for people who understand the multi-channel approach. They understand that it's not one ad fits all for all purposes. So you're working then with what businesses, sophisticated businesses, or those that are already investing in or ready to invest in multi-channel spend?
Uh, That is true. If I look at a customer spectrum, we see everybody from micro businesses, as we call them,
Mm.
to mid-sized businesses because our performance of our platform scales that way. We do see that customers which may be in at a novice stage in terms of their marketing capability, they tend to work a lot with agencies because
Hmm.
agencies are the ones which can help them think through their marketing strategy and actually action it on a platform, right? Because you
Right.
need strategy before action. And so if it is a smaller business, they can absolutely use our platform, but they tend to work more with a digital marketing agencies that can help them unpack the strategy and make the right decisions in terms of acting on that strategy. Customers that maybe say are in their intermediate stage of marketing expertise or already have a high skill marketing team, let's say a 5-person marketing team, they often have people who are experienced in performance marketing and may log into the platform and create their campaigns themselves.
Right.
So
Right.
we see the spectrum. We work with brands, we work with agencies from marketing maturity of close to novice to intermediate level of expertise.
Right. Well, that's fantastic. That's great. So how though, given, one thing that is constant in marketing is that nothing is constant, right? And I think you said something to that effect
Yeah.
earlier, is how then do you that seems like a monumental challenge for a platform like yours, which is uh, because I know every single time we log into any of the ad platforms to do, whether it's we're pulling reports or we're setting up a new campaign, you're like, oh, that's new. How do
Mhm.
you keep up? Like, how hard is that as being the software platform or the technical platform in this environment?
It is challenging, but it's also exciting and invigorating.
Hmm.
I think it's challenging because your marketing mix has to constantly evolve based on where your audience is, where your prospects are. Um, but a lot of the recent advancements with data and AI give you the ability to better understand that than you could in the past. So I think that's where the challenge is, but that's where the excitement is as well. Now we know
Hmm.
that the digital transformation of marketing and all the different channels that we have, whether they're social or web or now connected TV. You even have audio and digital out of
Hmm.
home. When you're in a gas station, you see a screen, or you are in your cabin in New York City and you see ads, right? Or there's all channels.
You never get a break from ads. Never.
Yes. Um, I think thinking through the mix and where you need to invest
Mm-hmm.
That is the challenging part, and how do you dynamically adjust that? But you also have good audience data and signals for you to be able to make a more effective strategy. And I think that's the challenging and the exciting part.
That's right. And I have to imagine that, you have AI on one side, which is just like exponential opportunity, challenge, you know, it has this sexy thing going on right now. But then, sort of counter to that, you have data privacy and uh, you know, literally every time I open a new app, it's like, are we asking the data not to track? Would I prefer to get ads that I actually care about, or do I want to get random stuff? Where we as consumers are being offered these opportunities to change how we receive advertising. We're going to get just as many ads. That's not going away, but it's really the mechanism, all this, the underpinning of this data insight is changing. So how do those two things, is there an overlap? Do they come in the middle, or do you see AI operating sort of independent to the privacy conversation?
Yeah. That's a great question and very fascinating. We think about this a lot. Our company and our philosophy and values are really grounded on being privacy forward. We have looked at research left, right, and center. I think there's a research done by Pew Research, which also shows that consumers, they really care about how their data is used, right? So that,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, consumers should be the one that are calling the shots in terms of what matters. But we've also seen, based on research, that when consumers understand how their data is being used, they're more willing to share information to get relevant content. I would never want, I'm not interested in pets, so I don't care about content about pets. But somebody might be, right? I may be more interested in guitars, or somebody else might be more interested in golf. So I think people care about relevant content and relevant advertising as long as they understand how their data is being used.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel that there is less of a divide between brands that want to engage audiences and audiences that want to share their data for the right information.
Mm-hmm.
It is not as much of a divide or a conflict or divergence of ideas. So that's the philosophy and ethos through which we live every day. And some of the technologies that we have invested in, they use l- they use technologies which are less intrusive, which look at audiences, which is prospects as a pool rather than
Mm-hmm.
specifically identifiable audiences. And,
Right.
and there is a set of technologies that we have invested in without getting really geeky for your audience. Like there are alternative identifying technologies which put people in an interest group rather than identifying them so that it is still relevant and meaningful for them, but is their data is also private. So I think
Mm-hmm.
it's actually a fine balance there that working with the right partner, you know that your data is private. You're being privacy first, but you're also solving for a problem
Yeah.
which is bring brands and messages uh, to the consumers that they care about.
Yeah. I think marketers have there's a gap in I because what you said really resonates in that when consumers understand how their data will be used, then they're more apt to trade their data for the relevant content that you as the marketer or advertiser or business want to give them. So it becomes this sort of an open economy, if you will. But I think where there is this huge gap that we as marketers are not doing in general is being more forthright about what that exchange looks like. what we're collecting and how I mean, you, nobody reads the terms of service that stipulate this stuff. Even though, Meta requires advertisers to have a privacy policy on your website in order to advertise or go in Google, it's like we have it. Nobody will go read it. Like there's all these like checking the boxes of sort of having that communication, but I think for the most part, we aren't doing plain language
Hmm.
exchange with it. And I think as marketers, we'd be more apt to get more email addresses or text numbers or opt-ins to our whatevers if we could somehow find a way to be more plain language and more honest around what is it, because it very quickly gets so technical, right? um, that so many people just go, well, I'm never giving my info, right? Because they just don't trust it. So I do think we have a ways to go, but it's great that you're working in an environment that's so values based around privacy and data management. But so that's the values for your company, but like, what about for you? You're as an individual who's had this wonderful journey from sales and operations and huge corporate training to now the smaller business environment. What drives you? What matters in your world
What matters in my world? Wow, that's a deep philosophical question.
for late in the afternoon on a Wednesday?
Yes, no, thank you. It's all good. What matters to me? I think wherever I work and the people that I work with, I think purpose matters. And when I think about the purpose of the organization that I'm in and the teams that I work with, uh, for me, the purpose that excites me, that gets me motivated, is of bringing people together. And I often feel that lots of teams uh, have a hard time aligning and working together because there isn't a unified purpose.
Hmm.
So it seems kind of weird that I'm saying this, that my purpose is to help people find purpose, and which is really about aligning them to a common objective. That's one core value for me that gets me motivated. And you can take different dimensions of this. This can be about helping consumers find alignment with brands that may have products that appeal to them. But this
Hmm.
is also very relevant to how my team works together inside of the organization to build those products. And often this means aligning what sales and product and marketing are working together on. So finding a common purpose and aligning people around that purpose is the one that motivates me most.
Hmm.
Is that too philosophical, honestly?
No, I think it's great. I think so.
Yeah.
What do you think what is your purpose then? What's
Wow.
keeping you
If I,
going?
as an individual, I think in terms of the purpose, I really aspire to help people find their own potential.
Hmm.
So I often do, and I know I'm veering on this onto a different trajectory. I often spend time mentoring and guiding and coaching, and I step back and say, okay, why am I doing that? And what is the pursuit here? The pursuit there is to help them be the best version that they can be, and helping them
Hmm.
find their own purpose. So if I were to just go to a higher level of thinking, I think it is again going back to helping people be the best version of they are and helping them find their own purpose. That's what elevates me. That's what helps me feel that I'm paying back and I'm contributing back. This also started very early on. Once I left grad school, I really wanted to spend a lot of time sharing my perspectives with others, not giving them coaching and guidance in specific direction, but almost helping them see the forest from the trees. So
Mm-hmm.
when I do mentoring or guide someone in terms of seeking their own purpose or being the best version of themselves, it is less with specifics. I'm not saying, hey, I think you should do ABC, but
Right.
it's actually opening up a couple of frontiers for them to see the situation in a different light so that they can make their choices. So not
That's
being
great
directive,
leadership.
yeah,
Yeah.
not being directive, but being less directive.
Yeah.
Um, that has worked well for me most of the times, I would say, in my personal, in my professional life.
That's great. And that is good leadership. And that is, I think, often the evolution of one's career too, is where it, it's, if there is such a thing as like some biological urge to leave, we're going to eventually leave our posts, our role, right? And when you're working somewhere you really care about, and you care about the people, you need to enable everyone around you to thrive without you. Like that is, if you become the linchpin and the only thing keeping it together, then that is not in the best interest of any organization, for no matter how itty bitty or how large. So I think that's to be admired. But Vibor, I always end these conversations by completely throwing out all the serious shit we just talked about, and turning the page on some pop culture and some, just uh, personal opinions. Let's put it that way, with a little rapid fire. Are you ready?
I am ready. Let's do the rapid fire.
What is your favorite social media?
Favorite social media to waste time. Mostly, I would say Instagram, and for opening my mind to new learning, LinkedIn.
All right, so you got something to grow and something to waste. I love it.
Yes.
Is there a book you always recommend?
Oh wow, that's would be a hard thing, but I would say early on in my career, The Heart of a Leader from Ken Blanchard was very inspirational for me. Um, and recently I've been reading a bunch of stuff from Marcus Aurelius on Stoicism. The book doesn't, I can't remember the name of the book, but I think that's inspired me a bunch. And they're both sort of leadership philosophy books. The first one more on uh, being there for your team as a leader
Hmm.
and operating with a heart, not just with a mind. And the second one is more about principles you need to live by.
Fantastic.
Sorry, is that too much color? I'm kind of
No,
unpacking
no.
it. Yeah,
Hey, that there's no rule here.
yeah.
Uh, Taylor Swift, yay, nay, or don't care.
I would say yay, less for her music. I don't relate to her music, but I think she's really helped engage people and build a community. And when there's a community, there's a common purpose. So I think from that standpoint, from what she has done in terms of building a community and
Hmm.
giving a connective tissue to a lot of people, I really admire what she's done.
That's great. And lastly, where do you want to go on your next vacation?
Next vacation, we're in the midst of this planning. Either southern Italy or northern France. We haven't done either, so we've done like the northern Italy or we've done southern France. So I don't know, but either of those. They're basically trying to find a balance of great food, great wine, but also beaches so that we can try and balance out everybody's choices in the family.
Oh, making everybody happy. That is the holy grail of life.
Yes.
If it's a family, then I wish you best of luck in cracking that nut. And please do let me know where you end up. So, who all makes up the family
Who all makes up my family? I have
for
my
that travel?
Yep, yep. My wife, my 21-year-old, and my 17-year-old. One's in college, one's going to be applying to college soon. So, uh,
Yep.
and
Similar boat. I'm in a
yeah,
similar boat.
yep. And we have one that is up at 6 a.m. and wants to do some things, and the other one that wants to wake up at 11 a.m. and take it easy. So you're also balancing those perspectives without naming them.
Yeah. It's okay. They'll know who they are, right?
Uh,
Wonderful. Well, I wish you all the best of luck, both in your continued pursuit professionally, but also in that finding the perfect family vacation for your next travel. Vibhor, this has been so much fun getting to talk to you today and for you sharing your story with the M Word listeners.
Thank you. Pleasure's been mine.